What's up, everybody? This is the PlayStation Lifestyle Underground podcast, the greatest unofficial podcast of PlayStationLifestyle.net. I am Hugo Stiglitz. You can find me on PSN as Hugo Stiglitz _420. And today we're trying a new thing. We're just doing with, there's just two of us today. Lucky number 13. So you want to say hello?
Yeah, I'm Steve Bitto. I'm the community manager of PlayStation Lifestyle. And you can find me on the PlayStation Network as Tyler X. Durden.
Awesome. So we are going to discuss PlayStation Plus today a little bit. First, I just want to talk about the games we've been playing lately. Today specifically, especially, I've been playing a lot of Bloodborne, been getting back into that. Arkham Knight came out last week, so I've been playing that a lot too. I mean, it's an incredible game, and it's like every time I pick it up, I end up not wanting to put it down. So that's why I've been kind of taking breaks from it, because I know if I just keep going straight on through, I'll be done with it within like 2 days. So I'm trying to savor that one. Also, I was playing Uncharted 2 on PlayStation Now with my Vita. Metal Gear Solid 3 on the Vita. Drive Club, Project Cars. A little bit of Battlefield 4 and Killzone. What about you?
Not quite as much. I played. I got the platinum in Prototype 2 last weekend, and then I started playing Velocity 2X.
Oh, that's a good game, yeah.
Because kind of like tying in with what we're going to talk about today, PlayStation Plus gives you so many like solid games, yet they're kind of hard to like get to. Because they're all kind of unique, so you need to really be in the mood for like that certain type of game. So I have like a long backlog of PlayStation Plus games that are like really high quality, but I haven't had a chance to play. So Velocity 2X is the first of those that I'm getting into.
Yeah, I do have a bit of a backlog when it comes to PlayStation Plus games too. What's it called? Valiant Hearts is definitely one of them. I mean, it looks like a really cool game. I heard that, it's really, really, really good. I just haven't got around to it. Also, Strider, which is one that I almost bought last year and ended up being free, and I still haven't got through that one. Trine 2 as well. So I'm always terrible with backlogs, though. I mean, I make progress, but it's just that, like, I don't know, whenever a new game comes out, I always want to try it at least a little bit. But it's like, if I have some other game that I've been playing, I'm not going to stop playing that. So it's like I go back into that and then just end up forgetting about the game. So it's like I know typically, like once I get into a game, I like to stay into it until it's done. And
right.
So yeah, that my backlog goes a little bit slow, but I do make progress. And PS Plus games are some of them, that are in my backlog on PS4.
Yeah, I opened up kind of a can of worms by playing Prototype 2. Because there's so many like AAA, people complain about no AAAs, but there's a lot of AAA PS3 games they give, and like I literally have like 2 full years of PS3 games on there that I haven't played. A lot of them are actually pretty good.
I do have a few too, but I actually did play quite a bit of them, at least before PS4 came out. I played almost every AAA game they put out there that I wanted to, and there's a couple I missed, like Darksiders 2. I never ended up playing Thief, though I do have it downloaded. Like, yeah, there's probably a bunch of games on my PS3 that I've downloaded, but just haven't really played.
Yep.
But it's hard to keep up with PlayStation Plus sometimes,
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, 6 games a month. If you actually have all 3 platforms, it's basically impossible.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, I do play a good amount, but yeah. And it's funny, actually. I get a little bit of a head start on this month's free games because I have 3 of them.
Yeah.
And I've beat all of them. Well, no. Oh wait, no. I'm sorry. I haven't beat Styx. So yeah. I mean, I don't think we mentioned what the games are this month. This month, a game that I've been mentioning on the podcast, looking forward to forever. I got to play the beta. So did Juan as well. I mean, he loved it too. Rocket League. It's coming out the 7th, and it's also going to be free on PlayStation Plus the 7th, which I think is like, that is a huge offer from PlayStation as far as like the quality of it, and just I don't even know. it's just an awesome game. I mean, and I'm almost kind of disappointed that I can't just buy it because I really hope that you deserve it. But I think hopefully they do some DLC or some other way for them to still get their money's worth. And I'm sure Sony's paying them too, especially since it's coming out that day. I'm Shadows. No, this is a bit of like I don't know. I don't know if I want to call it a niche game, but it's like a really hardcore stealth game. And I really like it. It's fully 3D. It's not like a volume type or like a stealth incorporated type. So it is a full, almost AAA type game. I'd say it's more like a AA game, but it's really cool. It's got a story to it. Voice acting. I mean, it is a legit game, and it is some of the most hardcore stealth gameplay I've seen on console. Although it does kind of let you cheat a little bit by letting you save wherever you want to. Like literally, you can just save and then it'll bring you right to that point, which is kind of cool. Like because it lets you decide how much you want to use checkpoints or like how much you want to, give yourself a backup plan as far as like if you end up dying, which is very easy. You're not a powerful guy like you're this little I don't even know what you would call him and like an elf or something like that or I don't even know what you call him, but basically, or I think it's a goblin actually. Yeah, no, sorry.
Right.
But basically, yeah, I mean you're going up against humans, these weird bug creatures that are also part of like. It's pretty crazy, and it's also a very very deep game. It's supposedly over 20 hours to complete. I've put maybe 8 hours into it already at least, and I mean I'm not even sure that I'm halfway through. Like so, it's a very very substantial game, and hopefully people try it out. Like especially after Metal Gear Solid Ground Zeroes, maybe people will be more open to a stealth game, and hopefully give it a shot. Because I think it's a really cool game, and so in total this month there are 4 PS4 games actually, because they're cross-buy titles. Now one of them's Mousecraft. I don't know much about this game. Do you know anything about it? Do you have anything to add? Or I know there is some kind of crafting, as the name would suggest, but don't know much about it. Entwined is that game that last year at E3 Sony announced and then said, oh, it's available on the PlayStation Store right now. I have played that a couple times already on Vita
I don't know
and
anything
PS4.
about it either, actually.
It's pretty cool. Like it's definitely like a sort of relaxing game, although it's still pretty challenging. And it's just a cool it's one of those cool like flower or journey type experiences. Maybe not as much as Journey, but it's just a cool like little game to play, and it's cross-buy with PS4, PS3, and Vita. So is Mousecraft. And then another one that we got this month is Rain. Did you get the chance to play Rain on PS3?
I have played Rain, and I did like it a lot too. It was really charming, and it was good. It was actually kind of fun too. Like,
yeah, I thought it was really excellent.
One thing I like about it is that like people, we'll get into kind of how people address the indies on PlayStation Plus later, but it kind of plays like a AAA game, like kind of an adventure action game.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
With more of a artsy aesthetic, but still it plays like a AAA game.
Yeah, and it was actually made by Sony's Japan studio. So I mean, like that's their one of their big studios, and they made it. So it's not. The graphics aren't up to PS4 standards, but it actually looks pretty nice for a PS3 game, and it definitely has some similarities to Ico, not in any bad ways, but like as far as like the whole companion thing, like I know that can sometimes turn people off, but I think in this case it was actually really well implemented. And I mean, hell, actually, a lot of the game you weren't even with your companion. Like you were kind of seeing her, but you weren't. You were trying to catch up to her like a lot of the time. But it was a really interesting game. Like some really cool puzzles and just like a really nice artistic game. Some really good music too, and obviously there's a lot of rain in it since it's called Rain. And I don't know, like people don't really appreciate like short experiences like that enough. I don't think. Yeah, I
You
agree.
know,
I
like
mean,
it's kind of like a artistic get in get out experience. It's not going to be something that you're gonna have to, it's going to be like a 7 game that you're gonna have to spend 20 hours playing. Like it's a good experience. It's not going to mind blowing and it's not awful. It's in the middle, but I mean, it's a good experience. You get in, get out. I like that.
yeah, I mean, I'd give it a little more credit than that. Like, I think it's really memorable and thought it was a really great game. I mean, maybe it's not up there with Journey or Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons, but I thought it was great. And now, speaking of that, did you have a chance to play Brother: A Tale of Two Sons, which was another free PlayStation Plus game that we got?
I have not, no.
Well, I think it is coming out on PS4 soon, and I highly, highly recommend it, especially if you like Journey or Rain or any of these kind of short experiences. This ranks among one of the best for sure. Like, it
Right.
also has some
Obviously,
really
I've
interesting
heard.
game mechanics about it too, and a really cool story.
Yeah, it's gotten so much praise. I'll have to check it out at some point.
Yeah, I even saw it getting nominated for like Game of the Year awards too, which is really kind of amazing. But um, I guess that doesn't always mean it's a great game, but it
Right.
definitely, I thought it was excellent. But yeah, and then the final game is another game that's only just coming out this month, and it's Geometry Wars 3 Dimensions Evolved for PS Vita. I guess it wasn't on Vita before, or maybe this is a new version, but apparently, yeah, that is it is coming out for the first time, and so that's two games that are coming out on that day. Styx was like $30 when it was brand new, and I mean, unless it's on sale, I think it still is like $30. And it's just another example of the crazy value, and I'd say this is like one of the best months as far as PS4 games are concerned for PlayStation Plus. But of course, we still got people complaining about it,
You're right. And
and
it gets worse like every month. It annoys me to no end, especially as the community manager. Having to read through like we get so many comments. Like these are the most commented on articles, some of the most commented on articles I put up, and it's almost always negative. But it's one of two things. If there's like a AAA game, it's too old and they've already played it. And then if it's indies, they don't want the indie station. They want AAA games. Like you can't please any of these people.
yeah, and it's like there's a lot of ignorance too. Like I thought for sure that this month, finally, like there would be less haters, or there'd be pretty much everyone unanimously damn it, I can't even speak right now. Unanimously happy about Rocket League, because it's like, how can you not
Yep.
look at that game and not be kind of excited? And but you still have people whining, so it's like it got to the point where like I don't even want to see this comment section no more. Like it because just like you, it pisses me off to no end when people are talking trash about an absolutely brilliant game like Rocket League. And Sticks too. It's like, how can you complain about Sticks? Like, I mean, maybe you're not into stealth, but it's like it's not really like anything we've got before, except for Metal Gear Solid 5, kinda, to a very, very small degree. I mean, because they're both stealth games and they're both basically AAA, and it's like, how can you complain about that? And I mean, same
Right.
thing. We dealt with the same thing last month with people complaining about Metal Gear Solid Ground Zeroes. Like, what's wrong with you people? Is like, that is a
Well, it's like
full-on AAA game, and it's not a full game, but it's like, as far as the quality, it's 100% AAA quality, and possibly one of the best examples of it, because it's amazing graphics, amazing gameplay, and it's rock solid 60 frames per second, 1080p.
right. See, my favorite month was well, in recent memory was Unfinished Swan, Hohokum,
Mm,
Race the Sun.
yeah.
Um, did I say Unfinished Swan? I said Unfinished
Oh,
Swan.
yeah, yeah.
And there's obviously 3 more on top of that. That was my favorite month. I loved all those games. Had a lot of fun playing them. My girlfriend still plays Race the Sun every now and again.
Yeah,
Uh,
I mean,
it's
I
just
wish.
and the people that complain, like I wish they would just go play one of these games because obviously they don't play them.
Yeah, it is pretty obvious. I mean, especially that month, complaining about those games. Like, are you people crazy? Like that was a fantastic month. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, I
Did you
wasn't
give any of those
super
games a
excited
shot?
because I had already played some of them. Like, actually, I think most of them, but which has been happening a lot lately. But it was still like a stellar month, and it's just kind of crazy to see people complaining, even when the games are really really good.
Because I mean, it's like, Outlast. Did like people that are complaining? Did you
Yeah,
go play Outlast? Like Outlast is great if you're into that. Like
that
Transistor. People complain, but did you play? Did they play Transistor? Probably not, because if they did, they would love it because it's awesome.
Yeah, actually, I think Outlast was one of the few months where people didn't complain, just because Outlast was like had a lot of hype around it because of the whole
Yeah,
Twitch and YouTube scene, and it is basically a AAA game and a really good one too. So I
and I
think that
think
was one of
just
the few
that.
months people didn't complain. Same thing with the first month of PlayStation Plus on PS4, Resogun and Contrast. I mean, how can you complain about that? Like the like Resogun's an amazing game, and Contrast was really cool too. Um, and it is just kind of crazy, like how some people complain about anything, and a lot of times that they just haven't seen it, and it is a shame that people will make comments on a game that they have no clue about. Like they just see
Right.
the name of it, or they assume because it's on PS Plus that it's probably indie, and it's
Yeah,
just
I mean,
like,
I think they see the price tag. It's not $60, so they assume
yeah,
that it's some kind of digital only, like little
hmm
indie title that won't resonate with them. But there's so much depth to these games that people need to give them a chance.
I mean, it's almost like if they haven't heard of it, oh, that game sucks.
Yep.
And it's like,
It,
I don't want to be all negative with this topic because I actually have to thank PS Plus because it has completely changed me as a gamer. Like, completely. Back in the day,
I
I used to be
agree.
like those people, that would look at indies and like, oh, that shit looks stupid. You know what I mean? Like, back in the day, I wouldn't play anything that wasn't 3D. Um, like, just because, like, I did that when I played 2D stuff when I was a kid, or stuff that was a little, like, not big blockbuster stuff when I was a kid, and it's like as I got older, I just why would I want to take steps back? And it it took PlayStation Plus to make me realize that games are great no matter what format they are. Like, I mean, there are plenty of indie games I've played that are a million times better than the AAA games that come out multiple times a year. And I like PlayStation Plus is to thank for that. Um, and it's definitely, I'd say it's the, other than the consoles themselves, I'd say it's easily the best money I've ever spent on gaming. You know,
Oh yeah,
like
without a
it's.
doubt, without a doubt.
And the other thing that drives me nuts about PlayStation Plus is the people that say, "Oh, nothing for me this month. I guess I'll may possibly renew next month when they decide to give us some good games." It's like, why would you do that? Like, you're
Yep.
only limiting yourself, and you're losing out on games, and probably spending more money because it's always cheapest to get it a year at a time or 3 months at a time. So it's like, if you buy 1 month at a time, you're wasting money. Like, if you do five
Right.
months in a year, you end up spending just as much as I do each year. Plus, when that month is up, you can't play that game no more. So it's
Yep.
like, why
You
not
might
just
as well
buy
just
into the
buy.
whole thing
Yeah,
and,
just or
like,
just buy all the games you want.
yeah, yeah, that too. I mean, it's
Like
like,
just
if
when you see a game, just buy it. And,
yeah, I mean, if
it'll
you're,
cost you less than subscribing.
yeah, exactly that too. Because if you're only buying PlayStation Plus when you like the lineup, you're basically paying for the games. Like, the games are only
Right.
free if you're bought into the whole membership. Like, that's the only way
Right.
they're free, is if you really buy into it. Um, like, some people say, "Oh no, you're still paying for those games." I think that's kind of a silly argument, because it's like, if you're bought into the whole subscription and you're in the whole membership, that's a part, like, those are bonuses for you as a member. You're not actually paying for those specific games. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it is kind of funny when people all say that, "Oh, those aren't free games." Yeah, they are. The membership isn't free, but the games are. I don't care what people
Yep.
say. It is kind of a silly thing that people love to say, but yeah, like that's another thing I find really funny is people only subscribing to certain months, which I mean I admittedly did when I first subscribed to PS Plus, but that was way before the instant game collection. Like that was when they had was like discounts and some free stuff and game trials. Like I subscribed for 3 months just for the Resistance 3 beta, um, and then didn't. But then the following E3, I think 2012 was when they announced the instant game collection. They had Infamous 2 up for free, and I was like, man, I've been wanting to get that game for a while, but I haven't had the $30 or $40 to buy it. And then it was like $18, you get it for free, but you also get these other like 3 or 4 games, and I was like, hell yeah! And I was like, so I dropped the money on it, and I've been a member ever since. And also, I mean,
Yeah.
they
I don't remember
just
if I
announced.
had it at the very beginning. I might have had it at the very beginning.
Mhm.
But I remember like they used to have some pretty bad games originally.
Yeah.
I can't remember. It was like Digger HD. It was like this really bad like little puzzle game. But and
Yeah.
then they had the PlayStation Minis too, and those
Yeah.
were
Yeah.
typically not the best. But it's come like such a long way, and they give you so much value for your money. I mean, already this
Completely.
year, I would say almost on a monthly basis, I make close back to the money that I invested. It's like $50 a month
I
in games.
I I absolutely would have if I didn't buy so many of the games they've been giving
Yeah,
away ahead of time. Like I definitely would have had my money back if it wasn't for that. I mean, I'm probably pretty close anyways, just because there's been a lot of games that like I would have bought, like Rocket League. That's $20 right there. Um, and it is an incredible value, whether some ignorant and narrow-minded people believe it or not. And it's like I don't know. I just wish more people like that subscribe to PlayStation Plus would actually try the games instead of complaining about them. Like, because it's free. I mean, maybe you wouldn't buy the game, and you can complain about it. Oh, I would never buy this, but at least try it, because there would be a lot less haters out there if they actually tried it. Because I mean, like I said, the PlayStation Plus has completely expanded my horizons. There's a million different games that I would not own right now if it wasn't for PlayStation Plus. Like, I mean, I'd say
and it,
half my PS4 library, other than my retail games. The retail games I probably would have bought, but as far as all the downloadable stuff on my PS4, almost all of it I never would have messed with if it wasn't for PS Plus completely changing me as a gamer.
I totally agree. Just on PS4 alone, like I've tried so many different games that like I would not have touched otherwise. Like,
Totally, yeah.
excuse me. Excuse me. I I always buy Housemarque games, but
Hmm.
it was nice to have the Dead Nation game, the Dead Nation Apocalypse,
Oh, for sure,
and
yeah.
Resogun, but
Yep.
also like games like Don't Starve. Like I would have never
Yeah.
played that otherwise, but I actually had a lot of fun with that at the beginning when PS4 came out.
Yeah, I played that one time. I mean, I thought it was pretty cool, but yeah, I didn't get too into it. But there are some games that I just absolutely loved on PS4 alone. Like I'm looking at my list, and the Swapper. Like I thought that was a spectacular game. And it is a side scroller, but it's not a 8-bit one, but it's got some of the coolest puzzles and gameplay mechanics, and also had like a pretty cool story. Did you actually get to play that one?
No, I haven't. I did download it, but I
Ah,
haven't played it.
that's good. Yeah, that's the other thing is I noticed there's a lot of people that don't realize that if you just download the game or just hit add to library now, they didn't have the option before, but they do now. You'll have the game forever. So if you ever decide you want to try one of these games, you'll always have them. And I've been doing that since I don't know, maybe 6 months after I started with PS Plus, just because I found out that you can do that. And it's like there's a ton of games that I probably will never touch, but there's also a lot of games that I've gone back to and be like, oh yeah, I remember. I'll see something about it and I'll be like, oh, that actually looks cool. I want to try it out, and then remember, oh yeah, I got it for free in PlayStation Plus, and I made sure it was on my download list, and I go back and try it and end up loving it some of the time, not always, but um, it's just a really cool service that Sony has provided. And the other thing I don't think people realize is Sony's not, they're not just doing this to charge people a membership. It also benefits them and the publishers. That's the only way it's possible. Because if you just do the basic math, even half the price of each game they give us away, that is going to be at least 10 times as much as $50 a year. Right. I think someone did. They took the prices of each game when they were free on PlayStation Plus, added it all up for last year, and it was like I think $3,000 or something like that.
It's crazy,
and it's like we're only paying $50 for it. I mean, I think that was all all four of the platforms. I mean, three. But even still, it's like even if you only count the 2 PlayStation 4 games a month, it still adds up to like, typically they're usually at least $15 each, so it still adds up to over $300, like $350, $360. I mean,
right.
And it's just a crazy value, and it's kind of crazy that people are complaining, oh, they're forcing us to pay for online multiplayer, and it's like, why aren't you a PS Plus member in the first place? Like, it's such a good deal.
Plus, like, the competitor has been doing that for 10 years.
Forever, yeah. And it's like,
it's not a new like monetary way to get money from the I guess the people on your platform. Like that, it's normal. Like Sony's the one that held out the longest. And now that they're doing it, they're giving you tons of value for your investment, because they don't want to just extract that money from you like Microsoft has done for so long.
For sure, and I mean a lot of people on Microsoft's side would say, oh, well maybe if you guys had to pay for online, then you would have better online service, and it's like, oh well now we get it, and now everyone's like saying, oh this sucks, this and that, and it's like, make up your mind, haters. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I don't know, maybe if I'm a bit of a jerk, but I was actually really happy that they forced PlayStation Plus onto people, just because it's like I just don't, still to this day I don't understand why you wouldn't want to be a member anyways. Like, I mean, maybe people don't realize, and by Sony forcing it on them, maybe they will finally realize, but much to my surprise, there still are people that are unhappy about it even after trying PlayStation Plus. But I think that's really just because they haven't tried the games.
People don't inform themselves. Like, I know a lot of people that don't download the games every month.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you don't even have to download it. You just have to hit the add to the library button, and you have that game forever. Like, and you don't even have to want it. Like, it's just always there. If you ever decide that, like, someone tells you to play it, you have it, you own it. It's free.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, why not try it? I mean, if it doesn't look like it's the greatest thing to you, who cares? It's free. Just try it. I mean, you never know. Like, I mean, there were a lot of games I did that with that I probably never would have bought. And lo and behold, one of them was Just Cause 2. I'd never heard of that game. I probably never would have looked at it twice in a GameStop. And now it's like one of my favorite open world games ever. And I absolutely cannot wait for Just Cause 3, because it's just this bonkers, crazy fun open world game with a grappling hook and a parachute. And it like, to me, it doesn't get much better than that. Like, it's just one of the many examples of games that I probably wouldn't have looked at if it wasn't for PlayStation Plus. And I think the publishers were pretty smart to realize that, and that give their games away for free on PlayStation Plus, because now they have a ton of people that are anticipating their next game. Like, I don't think Just Cause 3 would have as much hype or esteem if it wasn't for PlayStation Plus giving it away for free. Like, right. I think like that really has increased a lot of people's awareness of that game. There's a lot of games you could say that about. Like, Sleeping Dogs is another one. although I'm sure not a lot of people spent $60 on that remake, I'm sure people are hyped for Sleeping Dogs 2 because, I mean, the first one was an excellent game, and I'm not sure a lot of people would have experienced it if it wasn't for PlayStation Plus. So it is kind of crazy to see people complain when it's like, we're not getting the craziest AAA games every week, especially as far as the PS4 games go. I mean, I think we've talked about it before on other podcasts, but PS4's only been around a year and a half. I know it seems like it's been a lot longer, but it's only been a year and a half. There's not nearly enough AAA games to be given away for free, and they're still selling. You know what I mean?
And I actually responded to somebody today, and I said like you can either get games that weren't that good, or you can get games that crap. What was the other thing I said? Games that like are low quality, or games that are like really cheap anyway. Which, I mean, do you even want? Like, I don't understand. Like, those are gonna be games you either get. Oh no, what it was games you already played because they were good and now they're cheap, or games that weren't good and now they're cheap. So it's like, I mean, is that really? Why is that something you want part of your package?
For sure, yeah, and I'm just happy that it exists. Like, cause it saves us all a ton of money, just having it, because it's like if you're trying to save some money, you don't want to buy new games, just play whatever's on PS Plus. Like, because there's always something in your backlog or something coming out as far as free games that it can keep you entertained for a long time. And it's like, I think 2012. I maybe bought 3 games that whole year, and I don't think any of them were $60, and it was all because of PS Plus. Like,
Right.
also because 2012 wasn't the hugest year for games. You know what I mean? Like, there wasn't a ton of games coming out, but Journey was one of them. That was one of the games I got, and that was like a lot of people's game of the year. But it's like, if with PS Plus, it's like you could go a long time without spending a dime on games, which I'm sure maybe the publishers wouldn't like that, but it's really an investment as far as they're concerned now. Like,
I think also like what the
Sony
publishers
too.
get out of it is say they have DLC coming out.
DLC sales too. Yeah.
Yeah, like a smaller game like say Outlast, which is downloadable. You're gonna get X amount of people to buy it, but if it gets in everyone's family room like that first day, and then you come out with like their Whistleblower DLC, I guarantee they made a ton of money off that Whistleblower DLC based on the goodwill from people who got Outlast for free. And obviously Sony paid for Outlast, so they got their money up front with that, and then they got the big bonus with the DLC because everyone enjoyed the game.
I was one of those people because I really liked Outlast, and Whistleblower was a bit crazy. Like, it was even more messed up and hardcore than the first, the main game. And maybe it's the same with Infamous First Light. That was the standalone DLC game, but I bet you a lot of people went out and bought Second Son after trying First Light.
So that's what I said. I said that like that was kind of like a reverse effect, and people were like, "Why are they giving this?" Like no one, and that's what I said. I said they're probably getting this out there because it's a really good game, and it actually has tons of content for a $15 game, and it went out and sold copies of the Second Son.
Yeah, and it's also cool that they had the whole leaderboard thing going on with First Light, because I think that definitely does add a lot of replayability to it. Like, even though the main thing's only like maybe 4 or 5 hours, when you add in the arena stuff and getting a platinum actually does take a little bit of time in those arenas, and like plus if you get into the leaderboard thing, I mean, like, that is quite a bit of game for a little standalone $15 game, or free if you got it on PS Plus. But the one thing that always has made me laugh since PS4 launch is people love to pick on Knack, and since the start they've been saying, "Oh, I'll just wait for it to be on PS Plus," or this and that, and it's like, I've been saying the whole time, it's never going to be on PS Plus, because like you said, a lot of the reasons they do free games like that is to sell DLC or to promote a sequel, and there's probably not a sequel coming next way, and there's no DLC. So why would they do that? You know what I mean?
No, it doesn't make sense.
I could see them possibly giving away Killzone Shadowfall for free because there is quite a bit of DLC, like the co-op, or they could actually just give away the standalone co-op away. Like I actually kind of hope they do that to hopefully improve the community on the Killzone co-op.
Didn't they do like a free multiplayer? Free multiplayer.
They've had a
like
few
that?
weekends, yeah. Like they've done that a few times, but any multiplayer, especially competitive like shooter type games, like the more players the better. So I almost hope they put Killzone Shadowfall on for a month just to boost the player count. And I mean at this point, I'm sure they're not selling a ton of copies, and I think it would be good for them to put that out because it'll keep the game booming, and it's one of my favorite games. But also this month, Drive Club, they finally put out the PlayStation Plus version. I'm a little bit biased because I'm a huge fan of that game, but what do you think about the whole thing and what all that?
I haven't had a chance to play it yet, but I think it was a really smart thing to do. It was smart to wait because I know you love it, and I know most people that actually like got into it and stuck with it love it.
Yeah.
So I think it's really important to get that out there and make sure it works well, which it sounds like it does. Just to give that franchise some legs, because you had to like earn the trust of the consumers back, and I think this will do that. And I do hope it gets a sequel because I know people really enjoy it.
Yeah, I think the delay was pretty bad. They definitely messed up, but it's I think it's a really good thing because I've actually seen a ton of people in the comments saying, you know what, I talked a lot of trash about this game, and but now that I've actually played it, I have to say I'm completely wrong. Like I've seen that so many times so far, and it's really, I guess, gratifying because I've been saying all along that it's like everyone that actually has bought the game and played it and given it a fair chance has come back, raving about it pretty much. I mean, everywhere I look, which is usually not the case. I mean, almost every game, even the games that are most loved by people, there's always a lot of haters. This is one of the few games where the people that have actually played it are almost unanimous. It is cool that people are able to try it because I would definitely say that unless you're into racing, just watching the videos and the trailers, it does not sell it for you at all. Like you really have to experience it, just because it's not the most innovative racing game, but it's one of the best in years. Just because it gets it. Like there's a lot of racing games that come out that trying to do these different gimmicks and different things, and to try to stand out, but they're forgetting the racing, which is what it's all about, and that's what Drive Club absolutely nails. Because I mean, they're an old school racing studio. They've been doing this a long time, and although they didn't try to make this crazy open world, like gimmicky type innovative racing game, they just we're just gonna make a solid, really good racing game with crazy graphics and lots of content, and they did it, and I think they deserve a lot of credit because the game turned out awesome, and hopefully they do get to do a sequel. And also I do have to say that it's the best season pass I've ever bought. But there are certain people that love to complain, oh, season passes, this and that. Like it's like they couldn't have had all this content done before the game released. I mean, it's just not possible, and It does kind of annoy me to see people say that type of stuff, and it's like not every game can be like Bloodborne where they pack in a ridiculous amount of content before launch and give it to you for the same $60 price. Not every game can do that, especially when it comes to car games, because they have to pay actually quite a bit of money to get the cars licensed and put in the game.
Right.
So it's not every game can beat Gran Turismo with 1,200 cars in them. You know what I mean? And the thing is Gran Turismo, not all their cars are up to par with the rest. Like they actually give you some of the old school legacy Gran Turismo 4 cars as a bonus kind of. So it's like really Gran Turismo only has like 400 cars, which is still a ton, but that's one of the most established racing franchises ever. This is a brand new IP, and obviously they're not going to have 200, 400 cars in the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know. I think overall, like, Sony is really just giving people like tons for their money. It's high quality content for your money, and the only way you're gonna not get the most out of it is by not trying it. If you try it, you will find things that you like. It's just, I mean, if you like video games, there's gonna be things you like. And I think both of us are speaking from our experience that we went in probably thinking maybe not as vocally as these other people do, and for as long, but we were skeptical of the fact that these games weren't like the AAA games we were used to playing, and they completely opened our eyes to another part of the gaming spectra, if you will. And I've experienced a lot of great games for it. We named a laundry list of them here today. For me, it's like Transistor, Outlast, things like that. And I really am glad that I subscribe and that I try all the games out.
For sure. I mean, and I don't know, like, do you have like a favorite PlayStation Plus game you've got?
It's hard to remember, like, all the way back to the PS3 days.
Exactly, yeah.
Like, I would say on PS4, Transistor is definitely my favorite. I loved it. I thought it was so good.
Yeah, it is. It is really awesome.
And that's one of them. That's one of the ones that I felt bad I didn't buy.
I did. I actually got that one day one, and I'm glad I did. I mean, I've never played anything like it before, but, I heard it was, going to be an awesome game, and I just took the dive. I was like, screw it, I'll buy it, and I'm glad I did. Really, really awesome game, and it's like, the one thing I love about that game is it's like, anywhere in the game, it looks like this amazing painting. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it looks like artwork no matter where you are in that game.
Right. Yeah.
Like, everything is just gorgeous. Like, and I think that's really cool. Like, and I definitely have to try Bastion too, because I know that game's a lot like that too.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, I know. Like,
to try
it was for me, it was the audio and Transistor, the music, the voices, everything was so good. It was just so good.
Yeah, it was very good. Yeah. And it's like, I've never really liked turn-based strategy. And that game gives you the option to do action or turn-based, and it's like, It's funny because I leaned a lot more towards the turn-based, parts of that gameplay than trying to just do it all action, which is funny because it's like, I've always said that I don't like turn-based strategy. So, I mean, that's kind of opened me up a little bit to, turn-based games. So hopefully one of these days I'll get into turn-based strategy, because it's like, I've always really wanted to try Final Fantasy VII and like really get into it, because I've heard so many amazing things about it, but I'm just not sure if I can get past the turn-based part of it at this point. But one of these days I got to give it a whirl, like for that remake possibly. But
so good.
Yeah, same with as you. I cannot remember out of all the PlayStation Plus games we've got, I don't know if I could pick a favorite. I would say on PS3, BioShock Infinite has to be up there, although I already had it on PC. As far as games we've had on the Instant Game Collection, I'd say that might be the best in my opinion. But on PS4, I'd probably say Outlast. Although that will be dethroned this week by Rocket League. That's already... Rocket League is already one of my favorite games on PS4, period. And I've only played the beta. Like, it was, I really had that much fun with it. It was so addictive, and
really,
I can't wait to play it on Tuesday. It's going to be awesome.
Hopefully they have a smooth launch so everyone can really get a good taste the first day.
Yeah, I mean, luckily there is offline stuff to do. Like, you can play against AI. That was one of the many cool things about Rocket League is if you're playing online and someone quits out of the match, boom, AI right there. No slowdown. It doesn't make you wait or anything like that. It's just seamless online multiplayer. And the matchmaking was really good too. Like, that was another thing that impressed me. Like, it matches you up pretty quick, and it gets you right into the game. Like, the loading times are really good, and it's like, that's so refreshing, you know what I mean? Like, if you play a lot of GTA, going into a game that loads in a couple seconds, it's like, it's, you don't even want to play GTA anymore, which is kind of why I haven't been playing GTA, because it's like the last time I played it, I was just getting so frustrated with the loading times.
Right.
Because I was doing a lot of the heist stuff, and man, it's like, hopefully one of these days Rockstar learns how to speed that stuff up, you know. But
yeah.
I don't know. Do you have anything else you want to add?
They'll have to learn how to consolidate the servers, because I think that's part of the problem, is that like you have too many people spread out across everything, and you can't get anyone like on the same page because there's so many people spread out.
Well, yeah, the matchmaking is really bad on GTA 5 too, but I mean, even like bad. The single player, the loading times are pretty bad.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, no, that is a good point, because you know how the next gen version is 32 player for each online server instead of 16 like it was last gen.
Yep.
I almost never ever get into lobbies with 32 players or anywhere near it. It's usually like 12. Sometimes there'll only be like 7 players in there.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's a clear sign of horrible matchmaking.
Right.
Which is a real shame, because it's like one of the huge benefits of you know, the PS4 version, and one of the things I was looking forward to the most is having more people in that open world to play with, because it did seem like a little bit dead on last gen, just because there's only 16 players and they were always spread out, because it is a, you know, pretty huge island, and yeah, they somehow messed it up anyways with the matchmaking. But yeah, you have anything else to add? You looking forward to trying these games out next week?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward. I'll try Rocket League, and I want to see what Styx is all about too. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah. I mean, if you like stealth, you might end up liking it, and
then I'll also try to
I'd say be patient.
You know, beat the drum for Rain. Get more people to try it, because it was really good. Yeah,
that's true too. It's like, if more of my friends had PS3s, I would be telling them, you gotta try this game. But it's like some of mine don't have their PS3s anymore. And
yeah. I'll try to get my brother.
I'll beat that drum online or something in the comments.
Yeah, yeah, that's the way to do it.
Yep. But yeah, that's not bad for only 2 of us.
Yeah, 2-man show.
Yep, our first time. Lucky 13. But all right, thanks for listening. We will see you next week, hopefully.